Okay, now I've started.
Okay,
So I'm over here, so I'm not so
you're over
loud.
there.
I don't think that's crooked. No, that's not crooked.
Right,
It's
not
you
crooked.
it's you that's crooked.
It's me that's crooked. That's crooked and creaky.
And
I decided with a friend that creaky is the best word. It's not so much that I feel old, though I have felt older gradually over the years, especially after Canada.
I hadn't started. I had a question.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
But my theory is that after next week, won't feel so old again. Okay, your question.
Oh, well, that's too late now. It was my intro.
Oh, was it?
You buggered it up.
All right.
I was going to say that a lot of my viewers are asking after you and sending their regards.
Thank you. Thank you for your thoughts.
Yeah, it's very supportive.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
geez, yeah.
And they've said that even though I'll be on my own, I've got them I can talk to.
And it's been good to hear too of how some people have coped and things have improved considerably with the same carpentry that I'm approaching. So yeah, thank you.
And I think Viv commented on my last vlog that a friend of hers went in for hip surgery, a hip replacement, and was out in the same day.
Yes, but from what I've gathered from the appointments I've had, the hip replacement it's easier to recover from.
Yeah, but the same day.
Well, was that in England?
Yeah.
I think in England the tendency is to get you out as fast as they possibly can, which is not always a good idea.
Well,
I think that tends to come more in private medicine.
Yeah.
I suspect.
I just think that it's good to get people out and back home to recover. But I think for a day is
that's
I mean, probably 9 times out of 10 that works, but then you're going to get the 10th person with complications who has needs and they're at home.
And with a lot of things like that, you need a wound drain afterwards.
Yeah.
Just for a while until things settle.
They don't hurt at all.
All right. Don't tell me they don't.
I just said they don't hurt at all.
Even if they don't tell me about it.
That's what I said.
Don't want to know.
I said they don't hurt at all.
I'm managing most of the time to be okay when not thinking about it. And here you go.
Which is why we were running around yesterday trying to get things together to be prepared for you to come home.
I do find that as it's got closer, somehow I think partly from having appointments with surgeons and talking it through in broken French and English and the anaesthetist, I find it very grounding.
Yeah.
So that's helpful. It counteracts the alternative. I find is a degree of sort of imagination and predicting, I suppose, that happens almost unconsciously as to how it will go. And of course, old, very faded memories of doing general training, which included, I did work on an orthopaedic ward for a while, mostly broken motorcyclists, but did a session, a course in orthopaedic surgery, emergency surgery, I think, effectively most of the time, including, I think it was probably a hip surgery, I barely remember it, but even those memories and doing obstetric nurse training, which was a requirement at the time, I must have seen epidurals and thought, of course, nothing of it because you're working. But I was really quite intent on having a general anaesthesia. I just wanted to be out of it, like I've been for colonoscopy. I mean, this clearly will require longer anaesthesia, but I have in the end been persuaded that if I have sedation, it will be pretty much the same. I should be pretty much asleep, if not just asleep, and then they'll put the epidural in, and it's a quicker recovery. So mostly, especially with having met the people who are going to do it, it helps the sort of barely conscious imagining fade away, apart from odd times. I mean, oddly, there was the call recently to tell me when to go in tomorrow afternoon, you know, for the surgery on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. That raised again this sort of vague, formless anxiety, slightly. And I think that face to face, what works is I'm guessing, I don't know this, but I suspect that my normal unconscious defence mechanisms come into play, and I don't know, indulge in humour and a bit of banter possibly, and telling them, and I used to be a nurse, which, you know, makes them smile, and that all helps. That makes it easier. A rather more limited phone call without the usual, all the rest of the channels you get face to face, is when she's giving out orders in French, which I just about follow, and is more, you know, my unconscious defences don't come into play, I think.
I thought she sounded quite friendly, actually.
Oh, I think she did.
She was
but it still had the effect of
it.
raising a bit of this formless, vague dread thing. But mostly it's not there, and my guess is that, you know, I'm not looking forward to being in the grip of the institution. But I think in the face-to-face sense, it should be all right. So I guess it'll be okay.
What have you got left to do?
Me, I'm just responding to a friend who's been sending messages of support.
What have you got left to do?
I've got to pack tomorrow.
What are you packing?
Stuff to go with.
Your trousseau?
Yes. Trousseau. I've got to get some more wood in this afternoon for Kathy for fires while I'm away. And a bit of kindling and some more brown paper bags from shopping deliveries to light it with. The other aspect of my internal reactions, I think, having done quite a bit of therapy in the end, one way or another, when I was doing training to do psychotherapy, was sort of discovering how significant my first 5 days of life were. I was born with the cord round my neck 3 times, I think. And my mother used to tell me the tale of, I didn't know whether you were alive or dead for 3 days. Because what they did at the time was, and this is 75 years ago, they separated you. So I was kept separately. Probably looked after, bottle fed by a succession of different people who knows, might have been different, just doing the job, you know, going through the motions but not caring. So there was a lack of attachment. But I was in records that my father kept, which I still got. So it was 5 days, not 3, as my mother said. And people in therapy groups, when I mentioned this, said, "Well, how come she didn't know? Didn't she ask? Wasn't she interested?" And I'd never thought of it from that way round. But what did begin to emerge for me was a sense of how much those dynamics have persisted, as they do in all of us, I think. The earlier things we learn in our very early days settle in deep and wordlessly, but remain around even as we continue to develop and adapt. So I wonder if some of my barely conscious reactions, the deep formless stuff, actually is sort of evolved echoes of those first 5 days. I mean, this is just me meandering, really, but there you go.
I'll give him a ring, see if you're alive or dead.
Oh, that's good.
If you want.
Yeah. What, after 3 days or 5?
Well, I don't know. Depends how busy I am. Bringing in wood, lighting fires, fending off delivery men with chairs and things.
Oh, don't fend them off.
Oh, okay.
Welcome them in. Yes, we went and bought, we'd look around on the internet. The internet, you know, it's a real struggle trying to find details and delivery times and whether they're talking about, you find yourself on some site in America which is going to take 3 months to deliver, or something more
Even
local.
though we'd said France.
Even though we said France, we briefly visited the pharmacy we usually use in Saint Savin. The bloke, there was nothing on display, nothing he could demonstrate. He was looking through a catalogue like we were, except his was a paper copy. And we sort of gave up on that and went to, there's another pharmacy in Memorial, which has a sort of annex
showroom
tacked onto a showroom of the stuff. He could demonstrate it. He spoke good English, so we're in the end we're buying one, 2 motors to sort of I can lay flat. I can sit up with the legs supported. It feels really comfortable. It will stand me up if necessary.
That was good, wasn't it? When
that was handy. It doesn't match anything else in the living room.
It looks like an old people's chair.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to need. It's not plastic. Thank God.
We could have rented one in plastic.
Yeah, but
that wouldn't have been comfortable.
That would have been old people. Old people.
Yeah.
My experience, having done elderly mentally infirm, as it used to be called, it's plastic.
But it wasn't comfortable at all.
Sticky and. So this, I mean, it looks okay. It's sort of a denim blue. And nothing else in the living room is, but
I've got to do some. Well, we've got to do a bit of manoeuvring to work out.
Yeah.
There's too much furniture in there
Where to put it.
to make room for it, really.
Well, I think your idea of shifting
The
one sofa over,
yeah.
it just means the passageway through the room to the other side will be a bit more complicated.
But it was a good job yesterday doing that. It feels, and that's going to be delivered Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So if you do come out quite soon, it will be ready for you. Whereas other things we looked at online weren't going to be delivered for 3 weeks, and by which time you probably wouldn't need them.
No, we saw a really quite decent looking one that would have matched, but it was going to be the end of November or something. It just won't work.
And we ordered a kitchen.
Ordered a kitchen
because you need one of those when you've had your knee done.
I need somebody out there chained to it, supplying food when I get back. Because I'm imagining I'll be discharged. I mean, the surgeon I saw this time, he said, well, 3 days. I mean, before I've heard something more like a week. And he said, well, I don't think it'll be good for you if you, say, went to rehabilitation, hanging around, zimmering around with old people. I think he might have missed that I am old people, but, yes, the shorter time I'm in hospital, the better. So I feel quite motivated to get on with it. I don't know what it's going to be like, but you get mobilised pretty rapidly, apparently. Well, I've helped try to get somebody, that was when I was doing general training in Reading. There was some old chap from an Indian family, I think, who only spoke a bit of English. He'd had his knee done, he wouldn't get up, and I was sort of taken along to not give him any choice, unfortunately, just so that he could find out that it did work all right, I think. But,
so if you compared how you feel now to how you felt a month ago, and if somebody said to you, are you looking forward to it, what would your answer be?
Well, I wasn't looking forward to it then, and I'm not looking forward to it now.
Okay.
But what's been happening over the last week or so, if not a bit longer, is beginning to be able to look forward to how things are afterwards. That I don't know. I hadn't been doing.
Well, it seems impossible, doesn't it, to think this time next week you'll be here?
But I hadn't been thinking that way. No. And I don't really know why, but now I have. I mean, the other thing was the television satellite free box, which we've had for a long time, gave up. So no more telly. We've got DVDs, so I've gone back to. Bizarrely, we buy DVDs and then don't watch them. But it's nice to have them. So I've been trawling through, watched my entire collection of Tom and Jerry cartoons, for people who remember those. I've watched
Black Books, we watched.
Black Books, all the one, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
I've watched Trapdoor.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure many people remember that.
No.
It was a kids' series of plasticine stop animation, which is a delight. I sat and watched that with Thea, my granddaughter, and she insisted on watching, although she loved it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Voiced by William Russell. Russell? Rushton. Willie Rushton.
Willie Rushton.
And a comedian who was very good, very articulate, but lovely stuff.
Father Ted.
Father Ted, we're working our way through. And I read that the science fiction series, the Expanse series, a few months back. Quite enjoyed it. Quite complex, quite intelligent, I think. Apparently there's been a Netflix series. Having looked at Netflix, I occasionally do this because we've got Netflix
on my PlayStation.
On PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's so much. Years ago on a Friday evening, I used to go to the Chinese place, takeaway in Canterbury. And while they were doing that, I'd walk up the road to Blockbuster and try and find a video to watch for the evening. And the times I used to wander around it, completely unable to find anything that looked remotely interesting or intelligent or of any kind of quality, and just couldn't find a bloody thing. Netflix is the same. I wandered around their list and in the end I think, oh God. As for finding The Expanse, couldn't do it. So Kathy went on to Amazon and got the DVD set. So I think there's about 7 discs? There's masses of it. So, I'm set up when I get back next week to start working my way through that, I think. I'll have to take notes because it's complex.
What you might want to do, have a sip of your coffee. What you might want to do now is to thank all of those people that are still here at the end of this video.
Yes. I must go. I'm sorry to bore you.
Yeah, and apologise for your rambling.
Sorry if I'm rambling.
And on.
But you will watch it. You will.
And that you'll see them on the other side.
See you on the other side. Other side? What am I doing? Out to the moon or something?
Well, it feels like it, doesn't it?
Not particularly. It feels like we're going to Memorion.
Well, it begins with M.
Yeah. More letters, though.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much. Thank you for your indulgence.